video that you sent over the other day talking about hidden depression.
Yeah.
And you know, I had a lot of I had a chance to lot of I had a time to think of really about what is hidden depression and what it
Yeah.
really meant, not just for me, for the people that I work around and everything we do in everything life. So, Miss Judith, what is her name? Judith
Yeah.
Joseph?
Yeah. I want to. Yeah. Judah
Yeah,
Joseph, something like that.
something like
Yeah.
that, man. She had a
Yeah.
very interesting interview on the Breakfast Club. You guys go out there and check it out, man. Guess what, man? Thumbs up to the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
That was an excellent interview because she broke it down in the simplest forms. And one of the forms that I could identify with was working
Yeah. Me
and
too.
feel like I was accomplishing the things that I need to accomplish.
Yeah.
However, in that process, not having no satisfaction.
Right.
That was crazy
It was, man. It struck a nerve with me too, man. It really, really did.
because it's like I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do the best that I possibly can. I'm gonna always work and I'm to get better at the thing that I know that I think I can do,
Yeah.
and I'm achieving. Um, I'm falling short sometimes.
Yeah. We all
However,
do.
I feel like I'm achieving to the point where my day can be just what it needs to be for me emotionally and socially.
Hmm.
And then at the end of the day, I'm so emotionally drained and I can't figure out why.
Right. Yeah, man. That's deep right there. I can relate to that. Yeah.
So it's so many Americans. Think about how many people that are in employment situations that they're not happy.
Man. I mean, I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. Do you know one person? I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm talking about somebody that's not self-employed. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head of one person that's maybe one person. That's it. Out of everybody I know, family that really enjoys their work and going to work and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I know people who are self-employed who are miserable. You know what I'm saying?
Look, you got to get up and make money for yourself, and you mad.
And you mad. You
And
know what
you,
I'm
you got a
saying?
whole situation going on. You might be making $200,000, but every time that clock go off at 3 o'clock, you be like,
You upset. Yeah.
"Man,
Yeah.
I don't really want to do this, man. This ain't what I expected."
Right. When she said when she was talking, because I was listening, I was in and out. But when she made the comment about people just going to work, overextending themselves at work, working a lot, taking on a lot of hours, a lot of
Yeah,
projects,
yeah.
to I didn't think that was me. I just thought that um I was doing what I need to do for my family. You know what I mean? But when I start to think about it throughout the day, I'm like, you know what? I work prior to being self-employed. I worked as hard as I did because I was miserable. You know what I'm saying? And
Wow.
maybe being at work, being focused on just that, took my mind off what was really stressing me in my personal life. You know what I'm
And that's
saying?
a question I was getting ready to ask because that's a great segue.
Yeah.
Sometimes we work to avoid
Yeah.
the issues in our life that we really need to look into and we need to tap into.
Agreed.
So work becomes the escape. However, in that process, we still not happy.
Yeah.
We fall in such a depression that sometimes you don't even know if you're depressed.
That that right there. I was just about to say that. That's so true. When you have no idea what it is, and I don't now. Jess Hilarious made a comment about that too. That she had a friend that just called her out the blue and said, "You know what's been going on with me? I've been depressed," and he was excited about it because finally he had something to pinpoint it. You know what I mean? Like you said, people are doing this and don't even know. You know what I mean? It's a form of depression. Now, yours might not be as deep as mine, but it's a form of it. You know what I mean? So,
What I wanted to ask you was, even if I can tag it, is it something that I really want to do something about?
all right, that's it. End the show. Because
That's
that's
the end of
it.
the show.
That's it,
Hey man,
because
for you guys to
that's
just
it.
smile, hey man, look, for you guys to just
Y'all have a
tuning
good
in,
one.
I am Isaac, man, aka the Ice Man. That's my wonderful co-host over there, crazy ass church lady, man, Tiana White. Today we're talking about hidden depression. We viewed the clip on the by a psychologist by Joseph, right?
Yeah,
Josephine.
I
You know
know the
what? Let
first
me
name is Judas. I
Judith
know
is
that.
Judith. We're gonna get it right because we want to
Yeah.
give her. We most
And she was
definitely.
on the Breakfast Club, y'all. The morning
Yeah, we
Breakfast
want to
Club
give
was
her her props. I'm most
right.
definitely. I don't want to mispronounce her name. Her name is Dr. Judith Joseph. She did
Joseph.
an
Okay.
interview on the Breakfast Club, and she was talking about what is hidden depression. And after both of us, we watched that. I watched it 3 times.
Hmm.
I was able to identify.
Yeah, a lot.
It's like you think you happy, you're not
But you
happy.
better not. Yeah. And just let me just throw this in there for y'all who don't know what the Breakfast Club is. It's a morning talk show that comes this, that's on around the country. But if you can't listen to it live, they do have all their videos on YouTube, social media, so you can see what the discussion was for that day. But
Most
let me throw
definitely.
this in there too. When you listen to the video, and we gotta touch on this too. She was like, "You gotta find your own joy." She said there's a scientific notion behind joy that makes us productive, mentally, physically, all of that stuff that combats that depression. Because people talk about joy all the time, and we're like, yeah, you gotta have the joy, especially in church. You gotta have the joy of the Lord. But do we really encompass that? Do we understand that in order to be who we are and to be happy, we have to have joy? And one thing that she said, which is so simple, but we don't think about it, she said, you can't be depressed or angry or frustrated and have joy. They
Ooh,
can't coincide with each other. Nobody who says I'm depressed has joy. And people say, "Well, no, that's not true. I just go through." But at that moment that depression is at the forefront, there's no way possible you could be joyful at that moment. So you have to find out what your joy is. And I like that she broke it down. My joy might not be getting going to bed at 6 o'clock at night. I don't find joy in that. But what I do find joy in is getting up at 4 a.m. That might not be your thing, but you get a point. She said it's a point system that you could count throughout the day. Today I got 1 point for joy because I got up at 4. I got 1 point for joy because I was able to see my kid. 1 point for joy because I got off work on time. Whatever it may be for you, and you calculate it. It's just something in your mind. You calculate each day how much joy, you know what I mean? But there's a scientific movement behind it. It's like scientific
yes.
based on the lab studies that she's done. You can't have joy and have anything that is contrary to that. And I thought that was so dope. I really
And that
did.
and that's so interesting that we're talking about joy. And in all our conversations, we like to hit it from the back end. I know I do. Sometimes what people think joy is still part of the depression
Mm-hmm.
because what we do, we make ourselves believe oftentimes that we happy or the
Right.
thing that we think that's joy really satisfies us.
Right.
And then something happens and then that whole scenario, whole situation, it just goes out the window
It does.
because we really haven't even begin to do the internal work. And you and I, we talk about this all the time. Joy just doesn't come from situations and being consistent and being resilient with your everyday life. Joy also comes from the individual, the person or the persons
But then,
that has the ability and that are willing to do the internal work on
mm-hmm.
themselves.
Yep. That's so true. That is so true.
And a lot of times, depression looks different for men and women.
Right.
I know I had a period for myself after looking at the video and I had to sit down and really process, that whole video for myself. I had a 5 or 6 year period where I was just working, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was working, I was coming home, I was eating, maybe spending some time with the family, and I was going to bed. And I was doing
Right.
that on a regular.
Regular basis. Yeah.
But when I thought about it, and after you sent me the video and I watched it, and after the second time, that I watched it, I would not have never thought that I was in a slight depressive state.
Right.
But I was telling myself, yeah, everything I do is for the family. We're gonna be good in a minute. I'm gonna get out this debt. I'm gonna do this and I'll do that. But you know what? I remember there were periods where I struggled getting up in the morning, wanting to go to
Mm.
work.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you know then that you were depressed?
I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, am I depressed? Nah, I ain't depressed. I'm good. You know how that go. Nah, I'm good.
Right.
However, after watching the video, I feel like that was a period in my life that I had some depression going on, and I was not making a decision
Right.
to recognize it and to do something about it. Because when you in the service field and you dealing with people all day and your job is to help people like we do, we
Mm-hmm.
don't have time to be depressed.
We
We
don't.
don't even
But
have
they, the
time to
people we're
think.
serving need us.
The people that's serving, they depend on
Yep.
what we do, how we present, the validation that we offer them, the ear, the tough love. They
Right.
depend on all of that so they can get through the thing that they struggling with the most.
Yeah, that's so true.
And sometimes we gotta learn, recognize, and acknowledge that we gotta step back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you talked about, self-employed, being self-employed. And I was laughing because, the first, my father, he was self-employed for years. Like most of my older cousins and uncles, they had their own business.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I used to ask, "Man, hey, yeah, everything was just all right."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to come think about it, it really was no period of happiness. It was really just about
The money.
staying in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
sustaining.
Mm-hmm.
Sustaining.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts us a lot of time because we just want
Yeah.
to sustain. We don't want to go too high. We don't want to go too low. We just want to make sure these bills is paid, the family is good. And a lot of times, a lot of our men, we suffer from depression, and many times we don't even recognize what we're going through at that moment
Yeah.
because it could be tough. And women, I'm quite sure, you being a woman yourself, that's a whole different aspect as a man that I may not even understand.
Right.
Because I hear it all the time, I'm depressed. So, I try not to ask the question why.
Mm-hmm.
Many times I like to ask them, well, since you know what you are, what are you willing to do about it?
Right. And that's where a lot of times the conversation deads itself because it's so easier for us to be in that place to, to every day go over this, what somebody didn't do, what I could have done. And a lot of people just stay there,
Yeah,
and if that works for them, that works for them. But like we always say here, that's the name of the podcast, the Under No Conditions. If you're going to give me that information, then you should expect my response back, and my response is not
exactly.
going to always to pacify you. It's easy to be the victim. We talked that in the show before. It's easy,
Exactly.
because I mean everybody just feeling sad. Woe was me. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the trajectory of people feeling sorry for other people has changed because there's so many people being affected. Because guess what? You ain't the only one. The way the economy is, the way society is, everybody's being affected in some way. And a lot of people in this place, I can't take your stuff from them. Though I know you heard them
I
hurt
can't
too.
take it.
So,
Yeah.
have a good day. Let's pray about it. I got to move on because I
Yeah,
got
we're
I
not
got
even doing that.
depression. I got no money over here. I got my wife hounding me. My car don't work. My kids bad as hell. So you know what I'm saying? Sorry that you're going through that, but I got to deal with my own stuff. I just think in society, I don't know if it was you I was talking to, everybody out for their own. Everybody is out for their own at the end of the day.
You
But
know,
but like you
mm,
said, that's all true. But what you gonna do about it? What changes are
Yeah,
you gonna make? And I think, like she said, in society, people think because of social media, everything got to be this grand change. Guess what? You've
yeah.
been depressed for 10 years. It's not gonna go away overnight. But what you can do is, you know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna change my attitudes toward this. I don't like cooking dinner, but you know what? I'm gonna try to cook dinner twice a week for my wife or for
I'm
the kids. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm gonna get in this kitchen and make it happen because
Yeah.
I not only need to do that for myself, I need to do that for the people that's around me that love me.
Exactly.
And I know that's the right thing to do. You
Yeah.
talked about social media when, in this, this whole conversation. And I was just thinking while you was talking, social media make a lot of people depressed
Man, let me.
because
Let me. I'm gonna go ahead. Go ahead. I gotta
social
say something about that.
media, social media presents a false intent across the world.
Yes, it does.
They only gonna show you what they want you to know.
Exactly. So
Because
true.
in that background, the the process, you know what I'm saying? The
Hmm.
time that it takes for us to do the things that we do, sometimes we don't want to do those things.
Ex-
And
ex-
it can be so emotionally draining. However, I need to show up for people that don't even know me.
exactly. And that's got to be a hard job for these influencers, like these big influencers, because like a lot of them say, y'all, this is what I want y'all to see, but I got real life behind this. You know what I mean? There's real stuff going on. There's real arguments being had. There's depression and all of that. But then also too, at the same time, I do think it's a responsibility of influencers to say that. Now you don't have to do a whole vlog about it, but you gotta let people know, yeah, man, this, I'm going through this. I deal with just like you. Pastor Mike Todd did a message. It's called Audacious Faith, and he was talking about social media. Social media wants everything to be quick. You
Right.
don't, and or they want you to show the process with everything. Sometimes you just can't. Sometimes your healing ain't, going to be. I'm gonna jump from here, and then I'm gonna be healed in 2 months. Sometimes it's gonna take longer, but it all goes back to your question: what are you gonna do, or what
What
are
are
you
you gonna do
willing to
about
do to heal it? You know what I'm saying? But social media, man, hey, you out this joint, man. I bought me a Chanel bag one time. I wore it. I had to take it back.
it? For
Auntie
you
had to
guys
take
to
it back
just
because
check
I owed.
for
I'm
you guys
lying,
to
y'all.
just
I'm
check
lying. I'm
for
lying.
you guys to just check that this is the Under No Conditions podcast, man. She get ready to cut up. We get ready to act up a little bit, you
Nah,
know.
but I get it though. I get it, man. There's so much pressure to be this way, and it ain't always that way. But like you said, at the end of the day, what you willing to do about it? I had a friend that um before you could be in the first 10 minutes of the conversation, it's always a complaint. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
it's like it sucks the life out of you, and it sucks the life out of the room. And then
exactly.
one day I just couldn't take it no more. I said, man, I get it. What you going through is realistic, it's real stuff. But what you gonna do about it? Now this person would tell me, I know I'm tired of talking about it. You can't be.
You're not.
You know what I'm saying? So what you gonna do to change it at the end of the day? You tell me that too, man. Like I said, y'all, Iceman is the realest. If you want somebody to pacify and say, well, nah, he gonna listen. He gonna give you that 10 seconds of silence,
There
and
she
he
goes.
gonna
She
ask you
on it.
that question.
Oh my
What you
gracious. There
gonna
she
do
go.
about it?
What you
Well,
gonna
how
do
you
about it?
feel about it? So what can you change in this situation? And you need people like that, man. You need people like that in your life.
I always say if I can't be around people that can check me, you don't heard me say this. I say this every 6 or 7 shows.
Yep.
If you can't check me on and I can't check you, we don't need to be around each other.
Exactly. And that's period. Yep.
And you can't come to me and talk to me, talk about church lady to me.
Right. That part right there.
That that's not gonna
Even when
ever
we not
ever happen.
talking. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
So
not gonna never happen
yeah.
because and that's and a lot of times the complaining is part of the depression.
Yeah. Do you think it's because like well, let me ask you this. Let's talk about complaining. Can we unpack complaining?
We
We
can
know what
unpack
it
it.
is. But then I mean, what's the? I'm not gonna never say what's the point, because you got to vent. Sometimes you got to put stuff on the table. Like you got different experience than I do. I got to put stuff on the table for your perspective. But at what point do it come from complaining to venting to action? At what point do we move from that? You know what I'm saying?
And in the world that we live in, some of us, I have an employer, you're self-employed. When you realize after the first or second time that you meet and you have an opportunity to voice your opinion
Hmm.
and you realize that nothing's going to change, now it's my responsibility as an adult to adapt. Now I got to make it work for me.
Okay. Can you
So
give me an example? Like,
I won't be miserable.
okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get
It's
it.
so- it's something it's something as simple as, you know, allowing the people that work for you to take their vacation time
Right.
versus we don't have enough staff, you can't take it off right now.
Right. That's insane.
Right?
That's
And that's
insane.
happening in workplaces
Everywhere.
all over America.
Everywhere.
So now you seeing what it has happened to you, and now you experiencing it happen to other people. Now,
Right.
guess what? Isaac got to figure it out.
Right.
I'm gonna
Right.
figure it out real fast
Yeah.
because I'm gonna get me some time.
Yeah. You're gonna be on PTO. Prepare the others. Cause you're not coming in.
Ah,
Prepare the others. Okay.
I'm gonna get it. You better believe me. And when you
Yeah.
see me, you're gonna be like, man, you need some time off next time. Just let me know.
Right. Yeah.
All right, because I
Yeah.
ain't gonna play with you.
Right.
And and it's like, we live in this hustle and bustle of this thing called life,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be. And I'm learning simplicity.
Yeah. That's the key to
I'm
it,
not
man.
I'm not worried about how big your house is or how nice your car is. I know 85% of the people that's paying car notes, they miserable.
As 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 hell.
They can't even put no gas in them cars. I'm telling you what I know.
Yeah.
I done I done borrowed some money so some people can pay their car note.
Yeah.
Or gave people gas money. But I put that Merton tax on it. They
Well,
won't borrow from
well,
me again.
well, we know that because I owe $3. You trying to get 15, but all
I
right.
need 25, man. I need
Now it's 25.
20. Hey man, I'm gonna put that Merton tax on it.
Murder
And
tax. I got
about
you.
my money.
Oh yeah. Oh, hey y'all, Iceman bought his money. He
About
bought his
my
money, dog.
about my money. You better
Yes.
believe that. And it's a lot of America is have experienced at some point in their life a level of hidden depression.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even with the news, for about 10 years, I just started back watching the news.
You know what? I've been watching the news since I was 5. I did
I
stop for a
you
little while, but yeah,
you know why I stopped?
because it's
Because
depressing.
nothing on it made me feel good.
Okay. I give you that. I
It's
give you that.
like every corner, it's about something that's negative.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when you have something positive, it's like 10 seconds. They got a little
It's
skit
it's
on it.
it's six and a
Woo-hoo.
half seconds.
Yeah,
It's done.
exactly.
You be like,
Or they
oh
do it. They're gonna throw in a little cooking show. Oh, we're gonna teach you how to make beef tacos. You know how they do. Am I lying?
man, you ain't lying.
All right. Okay.
You ain't lying. And it's like we get stuck with that.
Yeah.
We get stuck with that. And so now what happens is the psychology change. Now some people when they get home, they can't wait to turn on the news because they want to hear what's bad happening.
Yeah.
They want to
Yeah.
hear that negativity
Yeah.
and they apply that in their life.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful about what you carry.
Absolutely.
We talk about that all the
Absolutely.
time.
Yes, you
Like
do.
if it applies, you know, handle it. Make a
Hmm.
decision, make some decisions to do some things with it. If it don't apply, I'm not dealing with it
It is right.
because I,
It
I live I live by the rule if I can control it, I can do something about it. If
right.
I can't control it, then I need to continue to adapt until I
That's
can
it.
control
That's it. End the discussion. But it we complicate it when, and you said this, when we put unwarranted emotions into it.
it. Exactly.
Because why I'm gonna be upset that the bus is late, and I'm talking, and I know this is extreme, but I'm upset this morning because the bus late. It done messed my whole day up. When I come home from work, I'm still pissed off about it. Those are things you can't control. Sometimes it's gonna be late, sometimes it's gonna be early. Take yourself out of the situation that you can't control. It's simple, but we complicate it as human beings. I'm gonna tell you this. I know we gotta go. After I got sick and I was in that coma, I had to rehab for a year and a half, 2 years. My life changed, man, in so many ways because I appreciated life more because I had been in a situation where something almost took my life. So a lot of stuff that bothered me before or worked me up before, it don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter and my family, my friends even say that. It's like, man, you don't get upset about nothing. It's not that I don't get upset, but I can't control it. I feel how I'm gonna feel in that moment. And that's it. At the end of the day, man, I can't control it. It's going things are gonna happen. Yesterday I went to the mechanic. I got some work I need done on my car. Ain't no need to be mad. I felt some type of way for a few minutes, got in my car. Thank God that I still can drive my car. And I moved on and said, I gotta move some things around. That's it. I'm not here today upset, mad about to cut somebody out and talking about the mechanic. There's nothing I could do about it. This is what the situation is. What am I gonna do for me? Am I gonna get it fixed or am I gonna get a new car? That's it.
So
You
let
know
me
what I'm
ask
saying?
let me ask you something. Did you get it fixed?
No, no, I didn't get it fixed. No. And I'm
Hey
not.
man, hey man, she ain't want to spend that $13, man. I'm telling you, man. Oh, church lady, something else, man. She
I'm
like,
not
boy,
spending that $26. I'm not doing it.
man, I'm gonna tell you something like
I'm
this.
about to do a GoFundMe for $26.
Hey man, look, when that thing when that thing break down, and
I'm gonna call you.
you in the middle of 406, you gonna be you gonna be like, man, I should have got it fixed.
I'm gonna call you. I
Hey
ain't worried
man,
about it.
look, I
I'm
know
gonna
them
call
car.
Iceman.
Hey man, them cars will have you stressed, man. I'm
Yeah, man,
telling
they
you, I
will. They
already know.
will. They
But you know
will.
what?
Yeah,
Sometimes we have to make those decisions and we have to live with those decisions.
that's it.
And understandably, we understand. Look, something may happen.
Yeah,
I just gotta be, um, keep my feet down and do what I need to do. Cause when something happen, I need to be able to have the funds, regardless of where
yeah.
I am, to get
Right.
it fixed.
That's it.
And a lot of times, people, they're living hitting depression, finances is a big thing.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
is.
you know, sometimes you feel like you don't have enough. But in
Yeah,
actuality, man, we have everything that we need.
we
We
do.
just have to learn how to manage
That's
and
it.
sacrifice
That's it.
until we can get to a point that we can have some things that we want.
Right. Let me just throw this in there. Mike taught in that message, like I told you, it's called Audacious Faith. What he said was, we got to stop having faith and worrying God about the small things when the small things could be rectified with discipline.
Oh, yeah,
For example, he said, you got high blood pressure. That's not something that we need to be going on a 13-day fast for and hearing from the Lord. That's something that you need to readdress what you eating. That's something that's discipline. That's something discipline can help with. And he was making it, he wasn't saying that you shouldn't go and pray to God about things you need, but he's like, there's certain things that's discipline related. If you could just
yes,
not eat at McDonald's every day, you might not have high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? And you could be praying to God for something else. Hey God, you know what? I want to be able to go on a cruise, or I want to be able to do this. You
exactly.
know, but it's just discipline. It goes back to discipline.
It really does. And
Yeah.
discipline is important, and it really ties into depression, to be honest with you. Because if you're not disciplined in your life and you're not disciplined to do the things that you need to do so you can have a few of the things that you want,
Mhm.
then why complain about it?
Right.
Why? Because
Mhm.
we have so many people that have so much money that have everything
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
still not happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
yeah.
So today I just work on just being happy with me, being happy with my circumstances, and understand that I need to continue to work on my own personal discipline to
Yeah.
continue to move forward so I can have a few of the other things that I desire.
Right.
And it's going to take me some time and I need to keep being patient.
That's it.
For you guys, I'm Isaac. That's Tiana White, aka Church Lady. Once again, we appreciate all of your views,
Yes,
your
we do.
emails, your comments. We really appreciate everything. From me to you, from the Under No Conditions team. If ain't nobody tell you they love you today, we love you. We out. Peace.
And we love you.